guys, what's up? So, I just finished reading A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas last night, and I decided I'm a little upset, so I'm going to talk about it. I apologize for, weird surroundings and, not having a set anything yet. I'm back at school, and I'm not really, used to having a way to set up and film. I tried to, prop my dresser up and move it in front of my desk, and I'd have, my books in the back, and that didn't work out. So for right now, this is what I'm going to do until I figure out something more accommodating for the future. So just to show you what the book looks like, it's got this lovely red cover. It's got the girl on the side, which is supposed to be Feyre, our main character. I'm actually going to do some flippy flip because I put the book in the sleeve upside down because I can't read with a book jacket on. Fun fact. So I'm going to give an attempt at doing a spoiler-free review on the book. I'm not very good at not doing spoilers. So I'm going to start off with a small spoiler-free summary and brief thoughts. And then I'm going to dive in to the emotional trauma that is A Court of Thorns and Roses. So a tip for you guys before diving into this book. If you struggle with weird character names and that's going to trip you up, if you go to the back of the book, it's not the last page, but it is the last page. There's a pronunciation guide, which I was really upset when I got to the end to realize that it was at the end of the book because I struggled through 400 pages of Feyre and Prythian and so this book's about a main character. Her name's Feyre. It's F-E-R-R-E. It's kind of like Freya, but Feyre, which was kind of hard because the book's about fairies and fae, and you start to get all the F's mixed up and whatnot. But it's about Feyre, and it begins her and her two older sisters and her father live in a cottage in this small village, and she has to hunt because her family fell from being in the higher class. They're now in poverty. Her father's crippled, and so she's hunting to take care of her family. When she's out in the woods, she comes across this wolf who she kills and then skins him, selling his skins. And she also gets a deer. She takes it home to feed her family. And then trouble happens. A beast arrives at her door. And due to a treaty that the fairies and the humans made, she now had to pay a life for killing a fairy life because she hadn't realized that the wolf she killed in the woods was, in fact, a fairy. So she's forced to go with this beast and go live with him in Prythian, which is the fairyland, and she's forced to live with him, and then stuff happens. I will give you this book was very slow to get into, but once you got there, you were set, you were good, you were going to be reading for hours and hours and hours on end. It took me a while to get into it, and then I spent the entirety of yesterday finishing the whole thing. It definitely has a very Hunger Games vibe at the beginning. She's in the woods, she has to provide for her family, but instead of it being her younger sister and her father who died, it's her two older sisters, and she has her father, and then her mother passed. And then, once I got into it, I realized it's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, so if you like that tale, it might definitely be up your alley. It definitely sucks you in. It's a world that envelops you. I still am thinking about it. I haven't started the second book yet because, college classes and stuff, education, can't read for fun all the time anymore. But yeah, I definitely suggest it if you're a big fantasy fan. If you want a new kind of, I don't want to say monster because the fairies aren't monsters, but a new supernatural creature to read about besides your basic vampires, werewolves, zombies. So definitely check it out. So, goodbye non-spoiler people, because we're getting down and dirty with A Court of Thorns and Roses. So, I don't understand Feyre's older sisters, because they're idiots, they're spoiled, and it drives me nuts. Her sister Nesta hates her, because she provides for them, takes care of them. I'm like, how can you be mad? How can you be mad? This girl literally takes care of you your entire life, and her father's useless. Absolutely useless. I get it, you're crippled, but care about your kids? Maybe, because he would have just let them starve. One of the things that bugged me, I think, was the huge, like, hatred for fairies within, like, everyone who wasn't a fairy. But we didn't really understand why. Like, we get a little bit of it, but I still feel like it took until they got to Prithian for me to really understand all that had happened. But that could have just been me. I hate how, like, she seems so much like Katniss in her role of, you have to do this, and here's how you do this, and I have to take care of all you, and I can't leave you alone. Because it's not your responsibility as the younger sibling. Like, I'm the younger sibling, and I would never be able to take care of my older brother and sister, ever. It just wouldn't happen. So I really don't understand how they expected her to care for them. And they just let it happen. No one cared. They weren't like, maybe, like, Feyre's a little young to be taking care of all of us. So, because she started hunting when she was 14 to provide for her family. Like, that's wild. 14-year-old me was never, ever going to be capable of that. When she gets taken by the beast who's named Tamlin, things start to get a little weird. She goes to Prithian, and she's kind of an asshole. He's nice to her the whole time. Like, he's a little harsh because she murdered his friend. But he gives her clothes, and he feeds her. And, like, he's like, you can kind of do what you want, just don't get in trouble. And she's like, well, I want to leave, and I want to do this, blah, 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 because she's ungrateful. So she meets Lucien, which is Tamlin's emissary. Emissary. I don't really know what the word is. I'll look it up later. But she decides, I'm going to trick Lucien into convincing Tamlin to let me go. So she starts spending a lot of time with him, and Lucien's like, as much as I would like to let you just leave, Tamlin's not letting you go anywhere. But then she starts spending time with Lucien, like they go hunting and they hang out, and I was kind of like, I want that to be a thing. I ship you two. And then it broke apart as quickly as it came, and I was like, I wanted something here. I really did. And you guys just blew it. And then all of a sudden, she's head over heels for Tamlin. I don't know where it came from. It's because he saved her because she was being an idiot and she was trying to, like, capture a fairy to force it to answer her questions. But I'm like, dude, you just all of a sudden, you went from Katniss to Bella in 2 seconds. By the way that you're just like, oh, Tamlin, I love you, and blah, 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 blah. And then she wastes her days painting and being mushy-gushy and in love, and as cute as it is, it's kind of like, alright, like, come on, let's go. Let's go. Like, I was like, something has to happen. It can't just be this mushy, mushy, mushy. And then this guy, well, she knows of this Blythe curse that's going around. It's like draining the magic from all the fairies and causing a lot of problems in Prithian, and may also spill into the human world, which, like, she's a little concerned about. But again, she's mushy-gushy, painting, loving, yada yada yada. So she ends up, there's like this fire night ritual thing that's kind of weird. So basically, Tamlin has to perform the Great Rite, and his, like, primal instincts kick in, and basically he has to, like, have sex to announce the start of spring. I'm still really iffy on what happens, but they told Feyre, stay in your room, don't come out, like, there's a lot of fairies from other places, they don't have any self-control, like, you stay. But they didn't tell her what was gonna happen, so of course she's like, I'm gonna go anyway, because that's what every female protagonist does, right? She's like, I don't listen, I'm gonna go. And she gets grabbed by these fairies, and they're kind of like, oh, human girl, what we could do with you, ha 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 ha. And then she gets saved by this tall, dark, and handsome, like, mysterious emo guy. But he's, like, also super creepy. So it's like, oh, back away, back away, back away, back away. And then he leaves her, and Lucien finds her, like, what are you doing? Why are you out here? If Tamlin finds you, blah, blah, he's never gonna let you go. So he takes her back to her room, and it's around 2 a.m., and she decides, I want a snack. And so she goes downstairs, and she runs into Tamlin. And he's like, oh, where were you? I smelled you. It forced me to choose another, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what is happening? And then they get in this really awkward, like, oh, I'm gonna bite you I want you scene. And it's really, really weird. And it just reminded me of how awkwardly YA authors write about sex. Because, ugh, it's really cringeworthy. But afterwards, she has this huge bruise on her neck, and she's like, I'm gonna show it off. I'm gonna walk around, show everybody what you did to me. But, like, secretly, she's loving it. And then ever since, her and Tamlin are like, so they start their secret little love affair. And, like, it's kind of, they're not doing anything crazy, they're not making out. But you know they have feelings for each other. And they spend a lot of time together. And then they're eating lunch, and the tall, dark, and handsome guy from Sex Night shows up and is like, yo, Amarthia's looking for you, Amanthea, weird lady's looking for you. And they're trying to glamour Feyre so he can't see her, but he sees her. And they realize that Tamlin's in love with a human, and she wants Tamlin, and it causes this whole thing, and they're like, oh, we gotta send you away. So they send her back to her family. And Tamlin had made sure that they had money and were taken care of, and he sent her back with money and clothes and riches galore. But she's kind of sitting there, like, so I just have to sit at home. And there's all these terrible things going on. And you might die, and I might die. And you're just gonna send me home? No. Curse, and Tamlin's like, I would rather fall in love with a human, and Armanthia's like, well, I want you, and he's like, well, I'd rather be with a human, you're a monster. So she then curses him and steals his power and makes everyone in his court is stuck wearing these like masks, like masquerade masks, and each one's a different animal. And she was like, if you can convince a human girl to fall in love with you, a human girl with hate in her heart for fairy, would be willing to kill one, then I will let you go. So basically, Feyre's whole purpose was to break this damn curse. And I'm sitting there, like, this is Beauty and the Beast. This is Beauty and the Beast. So, she goes off to find Armanthia, who now has her Tamlin and everyone in his court. She shows up, and they're like, we're gonna make a game out of it. You want him? Alright, you're gonna fight for him. So she has to go through these 3 trials, and each one's during a month. So she's gone through these trials, and in the first one, she's being chased in a mud maze by this, like, worm, but he's blind, but he smells her, and she traps him and kills him, and everyone's like, oh, snap. Well, everyone bet on her dying, except for Rysand, which is tall, dark, and handsome, and he's kind of like, he feels a little responsible for her. So, Tamlin's not allowed to talk to her. They briefly see each other, but they're not like a thing. Like, they don't get to canoodle together. So, she's in her cell. During the trial, she got really injured. She's getting a fever, an infection. So, Rysand's like, I'll heal you if you spend a week with me at the Night Court, which Prathian's broken up into different courts, and he's the High Lord of the Night Court. And she agrees because she's desperate to save Tamlin that she has to be alive to complete the trials. So he does this, and then she gets like this tattoo on her arm, and it's got like an eye, and it's to symbolize, you know, we made a deal, you're gonna honor it, yada yada yada. So he decides that he's gonna use her as like his escort to all these parties going on and such. So he makes her wear these really, like, skimpy, weird dresses, and, like, he covers her in paint, so if anyone touches her, you can see the spot she was touched, and they'll have the paint on their hands. And he brings her to these parties, and he gets her really drunk off fairy wine, so she, like, blacks out, makes her do all these really, like, degrading things, and makes, pretty much to piss off Tamlin, which we later find out that it's just to irritate him to the point of when he's free, he'll kill Armanthia. And, like, his anger that'll go towards killing him once he gets his powers back. So, we go to trial number 2. And what happened in trial 2? Oh, she had to read. And it was basically kind of like a riddle. Whichever lever, if she pulled the right lever, she wouldn't die, and Lucien wouldn't die. He was in a cage. but she doesn't know how to read. She was never taught. But the eye on her hand, the tattoo eye, she went to reach for the middle lever because she thought 2 was her lucky number, and her hand burned. She reached for the 3rd and she felt nothing. She reached for the 1st and her hand burned again. She's like, well, it's got to be the 3rd. So Rysand was basically helping her cheat, which he then later on explains is he wants to be free of Ramonti, and he wants his people to be free of her. And yeah, sure, he seems like a bad guy, but he's trying to do the right thing. And in the end, this is his way of doing the right thing. So we get to the last trials, and it seems simple. There are 3 fairy bodies placed in front of her, and she has to kill them because she's a cold-blooded fairy killer, right? Because she killed the wolf in the woods. So she manages to convince herself to kill the first 2. But when they take the hood off of the last one, she realizes it's Tamlin, and she doesn't think she can kill him. And so, but then she realizes, because she got told to listen. Just listen. He kept looking at her. He wanted her to get something. And remembering back to conversations she had overheard, she realizes Tamlin's heart was made of stone. So if she stabbed him in the heart, he wouldn't die. And so she did it. He lived, and they were all happy. They were like, oh yeah, we're going to be set free. And then Ramonti is like, no, I said you could only be set free immediately if you solved my riddle. And so she starts flipping out and breaking all of Feyre's bones, and she's dying, and she's dying. And right before everything's done, she's like, the answer to the riddle is love. And then everyone was freed, but Feyre is like dead on the ground, just kind of lying there. And then Tamlin flips out, goes beast mode, literally. Goes after Ramonthia, rips her throat out, she dies, Lucian stabs her, she's all types of dead. Not coming back. And then all the High Fae are like in gratitude of her saving us. They gave like little sparkles of like dusty stuff, and they turn her into a High Fae. But now she has to live with this like guilt of I killed innocent people. I killed innocent people who had nothing to do with any of this, and they're dead now because of me. And they kind of go, her and Tamlin go off, they have sex, it's great. They're all lovey-dovey living together. But she's like stuck with this guilt. And it doesn't sit well with me. Because I can tell you now, in the next book, she's going to feel all like grumpy and sad and guilty and angsty. And she's going to go to night court for that week to be with Rysand. And he's going to be all mopey and angsty. And they're going to be all mopey and angsty together. And then they're going to like fall in love or some shit. And then she's going to leave Tamlin. It's going to like, what was the point of everything you did? What was the point of all of that? Everything you just did. Are you kidding me? But like maybe that's not gonna happen, but like I'm pretty sure. I'm fairly sure. Because you know, that's just how the world works. She can't just be happy. They can't be happy in their little bubble together. That would just be too easy. I loved this book. I loved getting sucked into it. It was amazing. Don't get me wrong, the fact that it was slow was really kind of off-putting because like I get it, you two are falling in love, but I don't need to watch the whole thing. But at the same time, it's kind of charming. It makes you feel for them. You want their relationship to work out. But also, like, I kind of want her with Rysand because he was there when she needed him. He took risks. Tamlin didn't really take risks. He thought the way to keep her alive was to keep his mouth shut and pretend he didn't care about her. But he didn't do anything to save her. But, like, she also was dumb. I really don't like that she's a fairy now, because I feel like you shouldn't be able to just do that. Like, oh yeah, we can turn you into a fairy. Like, why can you do that? Why is this an ability you have? Like, why did no one think of this soon? I don't know. It bugs me. But, I'm super excited to see how the next book goes. I really want to finish A Throne of Glass now. Like, I'm debating if I want to read A Throne of Glass before I read A Court of Mist and Fury. Just because give myself a little, like, break, you know? But then I'll be, like, in between 2 series at a time, but, like, I could do, like, Court of Thunder and Roses, Throne of Glass, Court of Mist and Fury, the second one in the Throne of Glass series. And then kind of like go like that, maybe. I don't really know. I don't know what video I'm going to post next for you guys. I haven't really thought about it. I just bought a new book today. I got Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. So maybe I'll do something involving that. Maybe something about Throne of Glass. Here's a question for you guys. If any of you use subscription boxes, what's your favorite and why? I'm looking into getting into subscription boxes. I'm obviously not going to post unboxing videos because that would be very hypocritical of my one video where I was like, I don't understand unboxing videos. But leave your thoughts below. What do you think's the best, you know? And I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.